Okay, I guess we're live again. All right, I'm gonna try this again. Okay, I think we're good. Did I lose any of you guys? I'm sorry for the snafus. It happens, I guess. That hasn't happened in a while, quite like that. But I it just my laptop was not coordinating with my phone camera, so I need to see what I'm doing, like if I'm in the frame and all that kind of stuff. So, um, hi, Leah. Hello again. Okay. All right. So today, I'm going to show you how to drill a hole in a flat rock or stone, whatever you want to call it. What I have are some smooth beach stones. You can also use beach glass. Believe me, I'm no expert in this. I've only done a few of these, so you know, maybe I shouldn't really be showing you this. I don't know. I hate to show you things that I don't maybe have all the answers for. So we'll just go with the very basic drilling of holes. And then I was planning on putting a tube rivet inside one of them to show you also how that's done. Hi, Susan. So, we'll kind of just go with the flow here. But these are beach stones that my friend Sarah gave me. She goes to the beach quite often around here. There's lots of rocks, lots of flat rocks or stones, whatever you want to call them. She had a variety of stones for me to pick from to do the demo. And I would say that probably the biggest thing is, if you want to drill holes in them, is to check the thickness of the stone. Um, I have not drilled anything probably more than, oh, I want to say maybe 4 millimeters thick. Let me just check this one here. Yeah, maybe about 5 millimeters thick is about the thickest that I have drilled through. Um, and I have these little core drills that I'm going to be using, and I'll show you those. Those are things that you can purchase at some of the jewelry supply places. I know Amazon carries some, but they don't carry all. Um, so we'll do that. But my intention, other than making a pendant with the rock, is I also kind of want to make some mobiles or a mobile for outside on the patio with different size rocks and different colors of rocks. And I don't know when I'll put that together, but that's something that's in my brain that I would like to try, at least for the summer, to have it out on the patio. So the other thing is when you're choosing your stone is to not have it be too thin if you're going to put a tube rivet in it. And I only say that because when you're pounding the rivet into the stone, you can crack it. And I know this because that happened to me last week when I was trying. It was a really pretty stone. I thought it would be nice, and I was tapping the rivet in maybe a little too aggressively. I don't know, but I think the thinness of the stone um, had something to do with it as well. So there are just a few things to check out. Also, some of the stones, if you're going to put a rivet in them, the thickness is very variable, from end to end. I don't know if you can tell on this, but it's thinner on this end than it is on that end. And maybe not for this example so much, but I think some of them might be um, a little trickier if you're going to try to insert a tube rivet in there. If you're just drilling a hole, it's no big deal. The thickness, the uneven thickness won't matter any. but for this particular type of project, I think it does matter. Okay, so anybody who's done this, if they're watching me and you have some other pointers you want to add to it, or say, no, this isn't right, or yes, let me add this into it, go ahead and chime in the comments section, and I will look at those from time to time. Also, the core drills that I'm using are, I have a 3 seconds shaft on here. So this, well, what can I say? I was going to use my portable flex shaft with me, but it doesn't fit this size shank in here. So I have to get up and go to where I've got the flex shaft that fits this shank in here. Okay, so let's see here. All right, first off, I will hold these. These are called diamond core drills. They have a hole in them, and you can cut glass as well as stone with these. This happens to be a 6 millimeter diameter, which I'm not going to use for my project today. What I am using is about 3 millimeters, and they've got that diamond coating on the side, you can see. Okay, so I had purchased mine through Eurotool, and I have had them for many years, and they came individually in these boxes like this, and these were just some leftovers that I had from my shop, so I still have these that I'm hanging on to, but I don't know if you can get the Eurotool brand still or not. Maybe some of the jewelry stores or supply places will carry them. But I know not Eurotool, Rio Grande has some, and I think Contenti, Delphi Glass. But I'll put some resources on on our group page after I'm done with the demo, so that way you can locate some of these things. Also, I'm using some copper tubing. This is 3 millimeter diameter that I'm going to be making the rivet with. There you can also look for these. So that's just another thing. Let's see. Oh, this is the project that I did for today. This is just a little stone, little flat rock. And I have a confession to make. When I was drilling this stone, I was kind of when I was drilling it, I was kind of going around like this, hoping to get a good hole drilled. But I realized after the fact, after I looked at the hole, that I widened the hole, which makes the tubing that I had for it not fit quite right. It's a little bit too large. So make sure, and I'll show you when I'm drilling the stone, make sure you don't move that around, that you stay straight uh, in a straight vertical position with your flex shaft. So what I had to do to make this one work was the front of the hole was a little bit nicer shaped, but the back side of the hole was really wonky, and so the tube rivet wouldn't flare sufficiently to cover the space that was in the back. So to make it work, I cut a small copper disc for the reverse side and put that on. So not normally I wouldn't do that. I would have drilled another stone, but I really didn't want to ruin this stone. So I've got a little textured copper disc on the front, and then to make sure that that rivet would stay in place on the reverse side, I put a little smaller disc there, and then the tube rivet worked. So, you learn stuff as you go along. I mean, I constantly am learning stuff. I'm still making dumb mistakes, but each time you learn something. So I'm not going to call this a fail because I learned something from it, and I won't do that again. So, but it does work. All right, so that is the goal for today. Oh, and the other thing also is once you drill a hole in here, depending on where you locate, where you place the hole, you want to make sure that you've got a jump ring that's going to fit through the hole and the tube with the tube. If you don't have a tube, that's not really going to be an issue. But the jump ring has to make that curve to go through the tube and, you know, to the other side. I don't know how to explain that with my words. But I had to use a larger jump ring and a thinner gauge jump ring than I would have liked to use, so that it could make that that curve into the tube and come out and still be round. So, you know, that's another consideration. So I guess it doesn't matter so much if you get a large enough diameter tubing, but I was just working with what I have. So I'm just trying to let you be aware before you do these things, you know, what problems that you could encounter when you do them. That's just by, you know, adding the tube. If you don't, like I said, it won't matter as much. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the camera off of my stand here and I'm going to move it to the drilling station. And hopefully I'm not going to shake too much, make you dizzy. Oops. And hopefully this is all going to work okay. All right. So moving along here, I have a pie plate, like a pie pan, probably an old Baker Square pie pan. And I put a bunch of water. Okay. I put some water in it. Sorry, I have to be able to get this camera in here so it doesn't fall in my plate of water. Bear with me. If I had somebody to photograph with me, it would be nice, but I don't. All right, so hopefully you can see that. I've got a shallow pan of water. I put a ceramic tile on the top of my, inside the pie pan, only because when you're drilling away, I don't want to drill through my aluminum pan and have water all over me. And then I've got a piece of a sponge that I'm going to lay my rock on. And I didn't bring my rock, so hang on a second. All right. Okay. All right. Are we still here? All right. So along with the pan of water, I also have some blade butter, or you could use cut lube. You could even use 3-in-1 oil if that's all you have, but you need a lubricant to keep your drill bit sharp and running. All right. Now a couple other things here. I'm just going to eyeball where I put the hole because that's usually how I do things. And when you're first starting off, I'm going to wet the stone. When you're first starting off, you might want to angle your drill bit just a slight bit to the side. And then once you feel like you have a little indent, then you can push your drill bit straight up and down. And I do it in little increments, and I put the lubricant on fairly often just to keep it going. And it takes a little while to break through the stone. Can you guys see okay? I hope you can. I hope my hands don't get in your view or block the view. All right, so I'm going to just put the stone not too far from the top because I'm trying to think about my jump ring placement. Okay, and whoop. Okay, now I'm going straight up and down. And the water will start to get murky as it cuts into the stone. All right, and you can see, I'm going to put a little more blade butter on here. You can see that I've started to make an indentation there, starting to cut. I'll put it back down, and the blade will, or the drill bit will sink right into that little groove that you've already made. Just make sure that you line it up into that. And start drilling again. And it went through. That was a very quick one. Some of them take longer to break through than that, but that's all there is to it. You keep the stone wet, keeps it cool, keep the blade, the drill bit lubricated. It's that simple. That actually went through pretty fast, but I guess, you know, it depends on how hard the stone is. So you can see it went through. That was easy enough. Let's do another one. As long as I'm sitting here. I hope you were able to see. I'll do a second one because just in case I crack the stone while I'm trying to put in the tube setting. That way I still have something else to work with without moving around. Okay, you don't really need a lot, but it seems to pick up more than I need. Wet the stone. You apply a little bit of pressure, not too bad though, and that went through. It's a lot easier than you might think as long as you have the proper tools. That's a nice pull right there. And if you're going to like do a mobile or something, you probably would want to add another hole at the bottom if you want things to hang from each stone. You can, you know, have stone and stone and stone, whatever. You can add multiples if you want to do that. And like I said, as long as I'm here, I'm going to do this one too. Wet that one. And you know, your hole drill will get, the core drill will get worn after I don't know how many, but I can tell this was a brand new core drill that I put in here, and it went much faster than the holes that I drilled from a core drill that was used several times. All right, coming down at an angle just a little bit. off to the side. This one wants to slip around. I scratched that. This one must be a harder stone because it's taken longer. And there we go. Simple. All right. All right, now I'm going to move back over. Sorry, get my big fat hand there. Okay. Okay, let me look here. Okay, Marty's asking, how do you clear the stone out of the core drill? It usually just comes out. On this black one, this little pencil lead line, those little tiny piece of stone came out. I haven't had any problem with it getting stuck in there. So, like I said, I haven't done that many of them, so I suppose it's a possibility. This one I cut quite a few stones with, and it's still clear inside. Hopefully that helps. Let's see. Hi, Mary. Okay. Kim, this is a 3mm. It's yeah, a 3mm core drill, because I have corresponding 3mm tubing. If you're not using tubing, I guess it doesn't matter. The size is up to you, whatever kind of hole you want to make in it. Okay. All right. So I have my three holes, or 3 stones with holes in them. All right. And I have my piece of copper tubing. Fits right through nicely. It's not super loose. It's not super snug. So that'll work great for a rivet. And I'm going to put a small little piece of copper, like I did on this one, just to dress it up a little bit. It's not necessary. It's just kind of like what I want to do. So I am going to get my dapping set here, my disc cutter, I'm sorry. And I've already selected the size that I want. I want to make, let's see here. This is a 1/2-inch disc, and I already have some patterned copper. So I'm just going to, and I have an old Pepe disc cutter, but it still works just great. So I'm going to put design side down. That way, if there's any filing, it'll be on the back, not on the front of the disc. Okay. And just give this a few whacks. I forgot to put the lube on here on the punch, but I'm only doing the one, so it should be okay. The back might have just a little bit of sharpness on it, so I'm just taking a salon nail file and just getting the edge off, the sharp edge off of that. It's not much though. Okay, so I have that prepared. Then I'm going to punch a hole where I want to put a hole into the disc so that it fits, and I'm just going to mark the back side of the disc just with a little Sharpie marker, and then take my hole punch, and I'm going to use the 3/32 size hole. A 3/32 hole punch here. And drill through. You can feel it break through the metal. When you do, then you just reverse it, and you have your hole. Sometimes these things are stubborn and they come all the way up to the top before you can actually get your disc off. There we go. So I have that on there. This is a little tiny bit rough. Okay. All right. I need to polish that up now because I took off the shine. Excuse me just a second. I know I'm out of the frame here, but I can't reach. Okay, so I just polished that up a little bit. All right, now I have to decide how long I need to cut my tubing. All right. One thing I did not do, I didn't bring out here, were the jump rings. Darn it, I'll have to do that in a bit. So I need to determine how much length I need for this tubing to fit in here. Where's my eyeballs? Okay. So I'm going to get my digital caliper and measure the thickness. This is 5.24. And I'm going to add on probably 2 millimeters. Where's my tubing? Of length, so that way there's a little bit, to turn over on my rivet. And the other thing, before I get too far ahead, is make sure that your tubing is cut flush. Okay, if it's not, which this one isn't perfect, it's easier to sand this when it's still got the length on it. So I'm going to put this in my miter vise here and just get this end sanded flat. Now, if you're not familiar with the miter vise, these are handy little tools to get the ends of your wire tubing or sheet flush. I can just feel that sticking up just a little bit. And I'm going to take my flat file and just file over that to make that end nice and flush. Okay, so now I can remove that and measure out how long I want my tube rivet to be. Now, and this is a difficult, at least for me, trying to figure out the right length, because too much length on your rivet is going to be a problem. I wish I had a third hand here. I'll mark this. Let's see how far off I am. Excuse me. That's too much. It's not very scientific, folks, but I'm just that way. All right, so I'm going to see how this looks through the hole. Did I cut the wrong size hole? I think I did. Oh, crap. Yeah, I cut too small of a hole. It doesn't go through. All right, so it wasn't the 3/32. Let me fix that here. All right, we'll try this and see if this one is the right one, hopefully. Because your tubing has to fit through there. Okay, that'll do it. All right, so where's my piece? All right. So now I'm determining where I'm going to cut the tubing. So I want to make sure that I have enough on both sides, which would be about here. I don't know if you can see that. Okay. We'll go with that. And then this is a tube jig right here that I'm going to use to cut, to saw this little piece off. And you just line it up with the mark that I placed on here. Okay. Now, the most secure way to do this is to fasten this in a vise, a bench vise that you have secured on your workbench, but I don't have that right here. So the next best thing I'm going to do is just kind of prop it against my bench pin here, so kind of stabilize it a little bit. And I've got my saw. Okay, and a little lubrication for the saw blade. Well, I guess I have to put that down because I just can't do it with it in my hand. I've got my saw blade here. I think this is a 3/0 blade. Just run some lube through that. Pick this back up. Make sure I'm where I was. And the part I hate the most is sawing. I just don't like it. But it's a small piece to saw. So. All right. So the blade, the saw blade, fits in this little groove right here. And you just put it in there. And you start sawing. That's really not very steady. This is a little better. And there it goes. And there that goes on the floor. Where'd the tube go? Where's the tube? Did that fall too? I didn't see it fall, just the big piece of tube. Oh, God. It's comedy hour at Sue's house. Don't make me do it again. Where is that little rascal? Honestly, how far could it have gone? This is not it. That was a piece I cut earlier. Live from my nut house. Okay, well, I don't know where it went. I heard it fall on the table. Unless it ricocheted off somewhere, but I didn't see that. All right. Where'd you go? Oh, and you know, this is off topic, but as I was going through my saw blades last night, I was, I guess I'm going to have to cut another one. As I was going through my saw blades last night, oh, here it is. It's right here on the thing. Okay. On the bench pin. Very good, Nancy. God, nothing like being blind. Anyway, what I was saying was I went to get a blade last night, and this lid just didn't turn right. And I realized that a piece of the plastic broke off in here. So now this is not secure, and it upsets me because this thing was like 30 bucks, and it's a great blade holder, but I'm going to have to find something to wedge in there to keep it so this lid doesn't come off. That was just a little off topic, but it was disturbing to me. Okay, so let me look at the tubing. Just, I can't believe that was right in front of my face. Okay. All right, now let's check for fit. And, you know, it might be just a little bit long. See that? maybe this is the hard part for me about doing tube rivets, is making sure that you have equal tubing between the stone. That might be a hair too much, but I'm gonna just kind of go with it, I think. We'll see what happens. What could go wrong, right? All right, so let's see if we can get a better zoom in here. I've got a little piece of suede leather that I'm going to put on the bench block. And when you're starting the rivet out, you're going to flare it just slightly. Let's see, can you guys see? And I have a center punch. I'm going to use that. Okay, and I'm going to take just a regular hammer and I'm going to tap. I'll put the center punch right on the tubing and I'm going to tap it 3 or 4 times, and then I'm going to turn it over and do the same thing. Untap that side. And it still hasn't flared enough to not come out of the stone. So we'll do that again. Turn it over. Yeah, I can see this is going to be too long. Oh well. And it's starting to flare just slightly. Can you see? Can you see that this is starting to flare? On both sides. Yeah, it's definitely going to be too long. That's, like I said, that's the hard part for me, is determining just how much you need. There may be some kind of formula, but I don't know. I don't know about that. All right, so at this point, I'm going to take one of these little dapping punches and place that on there. hopefully that will flare it out a little bit more. And I'm praying that I don't break the stone because it's real possible with all this banging on here. And I just did it. I hit the stone with it. Damn it. I hit the stone. All right. Well, that's what happens sometimes. All right. Well, I already have another, and I like that stone. I have another stone here ready to go. Deep breath. No, I need a drink is what I need. All right, let's see. We're going to cut another piece of tubing. And I guess I'm going to have to cut another disc. I broke my stone, Al. The demo thing that I'm doing. I broke it. I hit it with the hammer. I missed my mark and hit it with the hammer. Yep. All right. It would have been too good to be true. All right. This is the 1/8 inch hole that I want to put in here. Well, I suppose, like I've said before, when I have these issues, it's good, I guess, that you see that stuff happens. All right. And I'm going to make this one shorter than the other one. We'll see what happens with this. I have to go through this again. My favorite part. All right. Get that out of the way. There we go. And it's on the bench pin. Okay, let's try this again. Now, this stone is a little thicker on one side. So we'll see how that works. All right, so I've got my center punch. not flared yet. Why do I keep turning this? Grr. All right. No, this is where I wanted to be. All right, now I'm going to try this again. All right, now, okay. Now I'm going to take my rivet hammer and flatten that rivet out. Actually, I think I want to do this one a little bit more. So you can see that it's starting to flare over. This even looks a little bit long too. I guess you need less than what I cut, I mean. Yeah, it's just too long. Even though it's shorter than the other one, it's still not a little bit too much. Because when your rivet starts to get a little bendy, then you know that it's too long. like when you put a nail in the wall and you're not hitting it, or it's too long and you're hitting it and it starts to bend. It's the same thing. Okay, let's see. So the side that's got the little copper disc on it is sort of bent a little bit. I don't know if I can correct that at this point. I'm kind of thinking not, but it's something here. And I don't want to break this stone. Let me look at comments to calm down a little bit. Suzanne, that's a great idea. I actually have a set of gauges that I didn't pull out, and I guess I should have. I'm mad at myself now that I didn't do that, because that would have eliminated this snafu. So yeah, I'm probably a good millimeter or so longer than it should be. Yeah, once a ring is in it, but I know that it's there. You know, that's the problem. It's like I would just have to cut this off and do it again. Oh, dear. Could anything else go wrong now? Get a phone call? A spam phone call? All right. Sorry. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not when that happens. But yeah, there's really no way to fix this that I am aware of. This would need to be cut off and then a smaller rivet placed on here. But this is just a demo. This is a demo to show you what not to do. It is important to make sure that that you have the right length. The back looks flared a little bit better than the front piece does, but because it's too long, it starts to bend inside. If I keep hitting it, I may crack the stone again. But I don't know that there's any way to fix that. Because if that length could just flare over, you know, then that would look better, but maybe past that point. This is a little bit better hammer than that riveting hammer. The peen end of the ball peen hammer. This seems to be doing a better job. actually is a lot better. Well, that looks better. But a little piece of the stone chipped off in the back. So I don't know what to say other than um, don't practice. I mean, practice on stones that you don't care about and get it better. This isn't so bad now, except now I chipped off a little piece of stone right there. Still workable, but it's not perfect. So at this point, I would just put a jump ring through that. And like I said earlier, you have to take into account that you're asking that jump ring to make the bend through the tube, uh, which will require a larger diameter jump ring and also a thinner one, because it's just the thicker one's just not going to make that bend. So I forgot to bring out my jump ring, so I'm not going to go dig for them right now. But this is the gist of it, okay? I have a handout that shows the steps without breaking a stone, um, and you get the idea. But that's only if you want to put a tube rivet to dress up the stone a little bit. Otherwise, a stone with a hole, just with a hole and a jump ring works, just like that. You might want to check out what other people have done with stones, maybe do a YouTube video or search or something like that to see what people have done with the stones, the rocks, whatever you want to call them. I know people make bracelets with them, earrings with them. This stone is quite thin. It would be actually, for my ears, it wouldn't be heavy at all, and it's kind of cute. But the chances of you getting two stones exactly the same, probably not so good. But there again, sometimes that doesn't matter if they're just a little bit off. But they look fine without a tube as well. But the tube dresses it up. So, like I had said, the main purpose of the demo was to show you how to drill through a rock, and I did show you that. But I don't know uh, how thick of stones you could go through, but I would probably say 5 millimeters or less, something like that. Uh, these core drills, have a little bit of length of the diamond area. I don't know, I didn't measure that. Maybe 3 millimeters or so. I was trying to find some resources where you could buy the diamond drills, and well, this is like 7.5 millimeters of diamond on here. Some of the ones that I was looking at only have like maybe 3 millimeters. And I don't know, if you're doing a thick stone, if that's going to matter or not, because I guess maybe not, because once you make that initial poke through, you're still going into new stone with the portion that has the drill. I don't know, I'm babbling. But just be careful when you're looking for stuff to buy what you need. I will have some resources out there of some of the products that I use and like. Damn, I wish this wouldn't have chipped on the back. Oh well. I'll put this in my fail pile, which is getting larger. I don't know if you have any other questions or anything. Yeah, Kim, you probably wouldn't notice, but I mean, if it was for myself, I wouldn't care. But if you're trying to sell stuff, yeah, you want to make sure that it's as perfect as it can be. and that would probably take, multiple experiments with the different tube lengths and stuff. I'm sure there's a formula of it. In my mind, it's like a millimeter of tubing on either side of the hole. And that's probably right because I think I eyeballed a little bit too much, as I usually do. So, all right, I will have the handout available in just a little while with some resources. I have no idea what I'm going to do 2 weeks from now, but I may try to work on it a little bit more with more effort than I did on this one. So, if you try it and you have some success, post them in the group. I'd like to see what you guys come up with. I will work on making a mobile. I think that would be kind of a fun thing, kind of natural stones. I doubt that it'll make any great sound, but it'll be cool to look at least. So, um, thanks for joining me. I always enjoy when you're here with me and to see my snafus. So we'll see you in the group. You guys take care. Bye bye.